say it. Go! 1, 2, 3. Think back to when you was young, running, playing, having fun. Your mama said get in the house, it's time to settle down. She would say, it's story time. It's time to go back and unwind. So lay your head on my shoulder, sunshine. Sunshine, it's story time. Well, say it's story time. Time to go back and unwind. Lay your head on my shoulder. Sunshine, it's story time. It's story time. Story time. Story time. Story time. Story time. Story time. It's story time. Story time. Story time. Now say it's story time. Go back and unwind, lay your head on my shoulder, sunshine. It's story time. Well, say it's story time. Time to go back and unwind. Lay your head on my shoulder, sunshine. It's story time. It's story time. Story time. Story time. Story time. Story time. Story time. Time, story time. Now say it's story time. Story time.
And good afternoon to everyone. We're going to have a very good episode today. We're going to be talking about how the sausage was made. Plus, we'll be playing a new story that just came in that we just have. And we're going to be talking to one of our very own creators who has recently got married. He should be popping in, and we will let him talk about that a little bit. Until then, why don't we just go ahead and play the intro and get the show started?
Gather around, come take a seat. There's a tale that's so sweet. Magic words and dreams take flight. We're gonna have some fun tonight. Doc will entertain you with stories old and stories new. Adventures waiting, just unwind. It's story time.
And so it's story time. And of course, like I said, this is a good episode we got planned out for you. It's we are talking about how a show is made. And first, we got to bring up one of the members on the panel that's ready to go, and that would be David.
Now, hello, how are you?
David, how is it going? And we are still waiting for Will to get in. Down to my understanding, he's taking care of something real quick, and he'll be in shortly.
He's very dedicated and working on a Sunday, so
yeah. Oh yeah, and we all do that. I think we have a lot to do, a lot of tasks to get accomplished, and it's good that we do that. We've got all kinds of stuff. And of course, you remember last week we were talking about what we're going to do this week. Basically, we were using AI to plan a show, and the results basically were,
Interesting.
yeah, they were interesting. And the idea was will do another Sippy Cup Shenanigans story. And if you're not familiar with Sippy Cup Shenanigans, I got them out in my channel. They're underneath the Wheels Sippy Cup Shenanigans playlist, and I do encourage you to take a chance, take a moment, and really look and watch those shows. They are fun little episodes. I will admit, originally we were picking on Will just a hair, but I think they kind of grew from there. And I do see we've got Dove in the house. We also have Tim Woody Ada in the house. And do notice we have a few other people who are lurking who hadn't said hi yet. So please say hi. Hit that like button. Pretend the like button is your favorite girlfriend and give it a little massage. And yeah, and share this show with your friends. Subscribe if you haven't already done so, and always please leave a comment. All those things helps out.
And happy Palm Sunday to everybody.
And News Now Enemy is in the house, and it's good to see you. Like I said, I'm sorry.
I was saying hi to Enemy.
Okay, yes. And I was just going to add this to my just some things I want to say. Is just that it's always good. I enjoy this stuff. I've actually with AI was able to do more with this new episode of Sippy Cup Shenanigans, things I could not have done 3 or 4 months ago. And I do see, because of AI, that it'll be better. And Will is in the chat, but he needs to hop in and join us because we really need to hear about his wedding before we really get going good. So, Will, you got the link. Go ahead and jump in. And so
we could get kind of Will. We could get kind of Will Ryder. We could get kind of Chris Ryder here. Put a 1 in the chat if you think Will needs to come in.
Oh yeah, well, we can do that. We can do that, but we don't.
Or put a 2 in
that.
the chat if you think Will needs to come in.
Yeah, 1 in the chat if you think Will should join us, or 2 in the chat if you think Will should just join us.
So you got some options.
Yeah, 1 or 2. But Will has the link. We do want to hear about his wedding. And I promise you, David and I will not give you any grief. I promise you that.
Excuse me. I've never given Will any grief. Thank you very much. I'm always the rational, kind one, right?
I mean, I'm just saying, I'm not going to give Will any grief. I said News Now the Enemy put it together, and he said 3. So hopefully we'll jump in here and we can get this thing.
We can start a "We want Will, we want Will, we want Will." Be hard to do with typing in the chat, but that's okay.
Yeah, well, hopefully he'll jump in here shortly. And I heard something. I think he is. That might be him. Yes, it is. Let me throw him on the stage. Will, what's going on, buddy?
I'm here for 10 minutes. Let's hear it.
Oh, no, we wanted you to talk about the wedding.
No. Let's get to the humiliation and embarrassment.
Well, Will, I'm curious. The wedding went great, though, right?
I'll talk to David about it. David, it was good. Stop talking, Joe. It was good. It was.
Wait a minute. It's my show. I talk.
That's exactly what Chris would say. You don't tell me what to say here, punk. This is my show.
I'm in charge of everything.
And I'm just going to say this. I did promise me that I wouldn't pick on him, and I know David's not going to pick on him, but I did bring in the chief mocking officer, the chief roaster, Mr. Thomas.
So you left him backstage just for me to come on. And
Oh,
when I
man,
come
that's
on, he's
cool.
just gonna start insulting me.
Okay, he wouldn't tell me who it was. Well, this is not. I had nothing to do with this.
Okay. Oh boy, this will be good.
Robert, Mr. Thomas.
Is he there?
Yeah, let me tell a story about Will. Will doesn't shower. Will apparently nothing. Come on, let's hear it, Rob.
Come on.
Hey, Will, I do have to say, you showed me the pictures of the wedding. Your bride looked very beautiful.
Thank you. She absolutely did. Absolutely. I think I sent pictures to everybody. Joe, you got pictures too, yeah?
Yes, I did. I did see some pictures.
Yeah, it went. Yeah, no, but in all seriousness, it was great. It was great. We had a great support cast. We got through all praise and honor to the Almighty because everything went great. It was absolutely fantastic.
Were you
And the honeymoon
traditional?
was good too. Just no jerk chicken and no macaroni and cheese, both of which surprised me.
Well, were you traditional? Did you jump? The
So
broom?
Say again, David.
Did you jump the broom?
Did I what?
Jump the broom. You know that's an old tradition.
Jumped the no. I didn't do
Okay,
anything
all
like
right,
that.
never mind. All right, just curious.
I haven't heard of
I
that.
guess that's more of a southern-
Well, I
that's
mean,
more of a southern
I've
thing.
seen some things with weddings. Some cultures would do, and other cultures would not do.
Yeah, and it was a very standard traditional Christian wedding. Very simple, nothing
That's good.
complicated. Had a minister, took care of everything, and had a nice, small, intimate reception. That's all it was.
Well, I'm going to just
So
say
did
this.
you pay the minister?
Of course. What do you think I did? I robbed the guy?
You probably did. I don't know. Half the time, from what I hear, you like to stiff people.
Says who? Who in the world ever said that? Tell me who said that to you. I need to know. I've never stolen a thing in my life.
I mean, the last time I really heard from you, was Friday night, but you act like you didn't know
Was when?
us. Friday night.
I was only listen. If you paid attention, I was in Jamaica. I had no internet reception, no service. I think I was like on a rooftop and it was pouring down raining. And then I was like, let me go on and use my one moment of internet to say hi to everyone. So,
So you was on the broke side of Jamaica? I'm pretty sure that Jamaica has, Wi-Fi or something.
Okay.
'Cause,
Hey,
I don't know.
I
Montego
guess
Bay is pretty. Montego Bay is pretty kind of rough at places.
you asked the question, Rob. Be educated. Understand how it works is it's not the matter of there being an internet. It's the fact that Jamaica rains like crazy. So when it rains or when the wind blows, even if it's just a windy day, even if it's a perfect day, the internet gets messed up. So,
dude, I'm from South Florida. I know exactly how it is. So
why are you complaining then if you understand?
and then the thing is though, here we go.
Thomas is the
Round up,
You
round
know,
up. Help
I
me, help me
guess-
round up.
I guess you didn't hear what I said about you Friday night on Expose's live
What
stream,
did you
right?
say?
Okay, well, let me just say it again. All I said was that Will seemed like the type of person that like to put pineapples on his pizza for no reason at all.
That's disgusting. Why would you assume I'd lower myself to that?
Well, he actually laughed at it. He thought it was pretty cool, though. Other than that, you seem like the person that do that.
I can confirm to everyone listening, I've never put pineapple on pizza. I don't. I'm all for people with their creative ideas. Whoever thought of it was in a creative mood or maybe drunk. But I would never do that.
So wait a minute. You never did this? Come on.
Yo, step into the kitchen, let me set it straight. Pineapple on pizza, no, that ain't great.
I can't hear anything.
Sweet on my crust, no,
How to
that's
cancel
fine.
subscription.
Pepperoni's got that savory shine. Sausage sizzling, bringing the heat. Red bell peppers make the pie complete. Olives dropping like they jewels on dough. I don't need no tropics, just that classic flow. Don't put that crap on pizza.
I have no idea.
way, no how, not a feature.
I expect Rob.
What is we listening to?
What am I listening to?
Oh, that's one of my.
What are we listening
That
to?
is one of my AI generated songs called "No Pineapple on Pizza."
You did not.
Oh, okay.
You're having way too much fun with this
I'd
AI
rather
stuff,
do-
Joe.
I do have fun with my AI stuff, but hey, I think it does give me a little bit of a better show. You know.
This does not make
But
me
you
feel
know,
better about
but
AI not taking over the world or anything. So
Oh well, that's why I'm being nice to AI, because when Skynet takes over, it'll remember me and won't put me on the termination list.
I just have one more. I have a question for Will again. When the
Side
when it came time for the honeymoon night, did you get
scared
scared?
of what? I don't understand. I don't understand what you're scared of. What?
I mean, because what all you do on the honeymoon night and everything. Most a lot of times I heard you was scared.
And who did you hear that from?
yeah, that's what I was wondering.
Your
Who on earth
imaginary
is
friend?
there trying to?
Hold on. Is Chris Ryder threatening to sue me again? Like, is he going to Lodger? And Will was on his honeymoon. And I heard Will.
Well,
Well, that's what I heard.
well, let's just say that huge Jamaican owl that was on a tree landed on my shoulder and told me.
God.
Well, let me ask you guys this.
Are you on byproducts today, Rob? Is that what this is? Like, are you like enjoying like a nice juicy, whatever you need? I need some of it. Bring some.
No, actually, no. I'm in the right mind today. I didn't take anything like I did a few weeks ago, but other than that, I'm in the right mind.
Like a few weeks
ago, yeah. Hey, Jordan Mack, I see you in the house, and of course, I forgot to say hi to Friday Roundup. It's good to see you.
And what he took a few weeks ago just wore off yesterday. So
yeah, sounds about right.
Yeah.
No, I was what I meant was a few weeks ago I was dealing with COVID and
Ooh.
I had a lot of medication I was taking. I was out of my.
I feel that.
People say I was talking out my mind, but I don't know.
I feel that. No, some of the medication, yeah. I mean, you'll feel like you've been drugged or something. So I get that.
At one point, I thought I was seeing purple rabbits and elephants or whatever, but I thought I was high, but
Well, I will say this, Robert. I do remember when I was sick and couldn't hardly sleep because of the pain I was in, how I would start seeing things. Usually it's just movement in my peripheral vision.
Right.
And of course, that was lack of sleep. I knew it was exactly what it was. Kind of can mess with your head, but when hey, I hadn't been sleeping.
but Will, they made a promise they wasn't gonna harass you, but I didn't make no type of promise though. I didn't sign that contract.
what contract?
Well,
that's good, David. Play KGB.
But let's get to the topic at hand because let me fill Will and Robert in because I know they both weren't here last week. So last week we were doing an episode where we were talking about AI, using AI to help develop an episode, and quite frankly, it's good. I find that I can create ideas and work things out with using AI. Including topic ideas that I cannot come up with on my own. So sometimes you just have to ask AI some questions, and you get to the conclusion yourself. So last week we were planning this episode, and the plan event was we're going to do a behind the scenes look at making in video Sippy Cup Shenanigans video. So which meant I have to create a brand new Sippy Cup Shenanigans story. So,
wasn't the last time we had like a Sippy Cup Shenanigans story?
We did have a Christmas. We had a Christmas episode.
It was during a Christmas.
It was a Christmas episode, and actually that was a fun episode because we created the Wolf Pole Intelligence Agency.
And again, we was waiting for Will to show up, and he didn't.
Mm-hmm.
And It was just, you know.
Mhm. Well, guess what, guys? Will's
Will,
about
just
to
stay
leave.
put for one
hold on,
moment.
wait,
Stay.
Will?
I gotta. Can
You
I come back? Can I
because
come back,
we're
please?
going to hold off playing the episode till closer to the end. But basically, I didn't to get my Sippy Cup Shenanigans story idea. David,
And y'all,
remember what I did.
you know, y'all got to let Will go because if you know, you don't want to get his brand new wife, man, because you know what happened when she do.
Well, yeah, I'm pretty sure she keeps things in control.
Actually,
She
if I may,
she literally
if I may,
she literally turns into the Incredible Hulk.
She does
she
not.
does
No,
not.
no, no. Okay, Robert,
All because hold on,
I'm
Rob.
gonna just say this. We're gonna pick on Will. We can pick on Will all we want to. Will's our buddy. We can pick on
We
him.
cannot pick on Kiki.
No, we can't pick on Kiki.
No. Not like that. You know, I mean out of
This is like
love
that,
though.
bud.
I,
You hear him stuttering.
no, I mean out of love though. I mean, you know, she's not gonna take it out on anybody else, but Will. I mean, if
All I'm gonna
the
say,
day he tells her no, she gonna be like Kiki smash, boom.
first of all, it's let's just get it correct. It's KK,
Okay.
not Kiki.
Oh, okay,
Literally
KK.
letter K and letter K. Literally.
Now,
Or either
Yeah.
KAY or
What?
KAY.
Yep. And number two, Rob, I understand you're under the assumption that women get mad. When women get mad, they're like the Incredible Hulk. But the only women that are actually built.
Oh, but you know that's all good though. But you know, but at the end of the day, you still didn't know what to do in the honeymoon.
Yeah, hey, well, when his mama sits around the house, she sits around the house. That's how big she is.
okay, so Will has jumped out. He said he will be back. I hope he comes back because I would really want him to hear this story. Because I personally, I loved how we did this story idea. I asked, what was it? 10 ideas for Sippy Cup Shenanigans, right? Was it
Right.
something like that, David? Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
And it's like as soon as we read number 2, we all knew that was it. We read all 10 of them, but we knew as soon as we read number 2, Will gets hold of the invisible juice, and just the suggestion was water. David was pushing for vodka, but after I was starting developing the story, I said no, moonshine works better. Based on
For who?
for the story.
For the story.
Okay.
Okay. Because wasn't it originally? It was originally in the story. Wasn't it chocolate milk?
Oh no, that's a different story. That's a different story. He had chocolate milk in, and he's lactose intolerant, and that caused some issues. But get back to what we were talking about. Will confuses moonshine for some sort of invisible juice, and he thinks he's going running around town invisible. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Now this is
There's so many ways you could take
Yes,
that.
it is.
Has no clothes.
the emperor has no clothes.
That's what I was thinking.
Now Will was in his underwear. I was not going to have him running around totally nude. I don't think we want to see that or think about that.
No, I don't need to have another nightmare.
But I've been playing around with an idea as well, creating my fictional evil twin brother. So I introduced him in this story, Doc Laneau. Doc Laneau may make some more appearances. He may actually narrate stories.
Okay, but what's the difference between your character and this evil character? What's the opposite? What does he do?
Well, he's causing chaos and mayhem for the fun of it, and he has a British accent.
That's the difference? Oh, okay.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean, he's evil, so he's
Okay.
going to have a British accent.
so he's basically like Dr. Evil.
Yeah, he's kind of like Dr. Evil, but he's known as Doc Laneau.
Yeah, but Dr. Evil's Canadian.
Well, point being,
Wait a minute. No. See, I'm thinking about
Yeah.
Austin Powers. Okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. Austin Powers. Well, no? I thought no. Dr. Evil was Belgian. Mike Myers
No,
is
that's right. He's
Canadian.
Belgian. You're right. You're right. Dr. Evil
Yeah,
Belgian.
yeah,
That's right.
yes. No, and no, Dub. Well, yeah, Dub. I guess he is, but he is also uh, my fictional evil twin. And yes, there is a song at the end of the video today as well. And all this was done in the week, and I call it animation. It's really more like pictures for a storybook type thing. So I added a little bit more of a visual element to the video than I normally do. And I think that kind of helped us come out with some good stuff. So really, what Copilot did for me on that day was kind of point in a general direction, and I was able to go down that path, and that's kind of and create things on its own. I think AI is good in the sense that it will uh, kind of give you an idea of something, and then your mind will kind of start connect those dots. Like, I'm looking to do something, I need some ideas. So the question was asked: Who was Dread? Okay, so we have Dread, uh, and let me.
Now, is Dredd wearing dreads?
No, I did not want Dread to have dreads.
okay.
Eh,
Okay, so is Dredd, does he look like you, but he has like a really dark beard and dark hair and wear no glasses?
you're getting close. You are getting very close. And I don't.
I mean, if he's supposed to be like the opposite of you, you would think you don't want him to look,
There's
you
Dread
know.
right there. Well, is he on the screen yet for you guys? That's Dread. So
Okay.
base,
You look like you.
huh?
It look like you could do something with
Yeah,
this character.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Dredd needs to
And
work on his haircut, though.
well, and Dread, basically, that picture came off my picture where I told AI to
Okay, I can see that. I can see, yeah, I
yeah,
can see the face.
yeah. So
He should have had a scar on his face
there is
though.
a scar on his face, on his forehead.
Oh, okay. I thought that was his
It
hair.
could be his hair. I don't know. You might be right. And believe me, it took me a while to get the right picture with the AI with Copilot. And I finally, after just working with the Copilot, trying to get some good screenshots, I finally said, you know what? Let me sign up for the Chat GPT Pro. Hey, Billy, how you doing, buddy? It's good to see you. And Carmen Sepper's in the house. Good to see y'all. Thanks for joining us. So I spent. I said, okay, this is getting frustrating. Copilot would create a good picture and then would not remember what it created before, and create a horrible picture that had nothing to do with it. So I switched over to ChatGPT. I went ahead and spent the monthly fee to give it a try it for this one time. I uploaded the story that had been edited and everything else. I uploaded the story, asked ChatGPT, uh, let's create some scenes from this story. He asked me, how many scenes do I want? I said, no. Let's try 5. Let's start with 5 scenes. Okay, what kind of style? Kind of a more cartoon type style. Okay, cartoon style. Uh, Here's 5 scenes I identified that we can create. All 5 of them agree with them. Okay, let's start with scene 1. It created scene 1, and there was something not quite right about it, so I pointed it out, and it fixed that, and then it was right. Okay, let's go do scene 2. Scene 2, it did scene 2, and I think scene 2 actually was 100% correct. Well, no, it got a problem with scene 2 because I wanted Will to be in his underwear in this particular scene, but it did not want to draw that particular scene, so I had to agree to allow Will to be in in a T-shirt as well. So just something about the terminology wording made it probably hesitant to do that picture. Plus, we have in that particular scene we had the character Little Jimmy in it too. So, and Little Jimmy is a minor, so that might be also another reason why it did not want to do Will running around in his underwear in front of a little kid. Then we.
But in actuality, in real life, I think he does that.
While running around in his underwear in front of little kids.
No, not in front of the kids, but
Well,
just around
the house.
Philadelphia.
Oh, okay, around Philadelphia.
Yes.
Okay. All right. And then scene 3, again, maybe 1 or 2 minor corrections were done to make that scene look right. And then after all those 5 scenes done, maybe with a couple corrections here and there, it was on the money. It was really done nicely. Then we started looking at. I just thought, okay, I need additional scenes. I need another scene created that takes place here, and this scene here. And next time we know, and let me do this. Let's put my screen on this up here. All right, so this is my Chat GPT communication. So I'm going to scroll up, and after we did all the scenes, and I'll show you some of the scenes that we created with Chat GPT. Here's one of them right here. This is where Will's walking into the bar, and that's the picture of Dredd behind the bar.
Why does Will look like he's
because
scared?
it's his wedding day. Will's getting married that day.
Oh,
yeah. So there is a little bit of factual truth behind the story. All right. So here's another scene where basically the townspeople are at the bar, and here's Doc telling, "Hey, Dredd is coming to town." That's where a picture failed to get made. Oh, that's my new logo. What you think about the logo?
I like
it. Nice little logo. Me playing a little bit on the logo. All right. I did not like that one. That one, no, I didn't care for that one. And that one's okay. But let's keep on going up. We got some more stuff. Okay, I asked for a picture of a bar background, which is what we're using today as our background on this show. And this is the making of picture. But see, I don't understand. How did it get to how did it create this? I just said, hey, I just need a making of thumbnail. And I wish Will was here because we could give Will a little bit of a hard time talking about, hey, Will, why are you standing in front of your underwear in front of that kid, man? What's up with that, man? But he's not doing that. Okay. But okay, and here's the thumbnail for the story itself, which is kind of nice, cool little thumbnail, and the thumbnail for the song. But get back over here. We can, if we scroll up, this is the bluegrass progression with the instrumental breakdown, and this is the song that it wrote for, based upon the story that I wrote. And I really like the song. I can't wait till you guys hear it. It's going to be fun to play. And overall, things look real good. I thought that it did a nice job. I did play a little bit trying to animate some of these pictures. This is Will with his fiance. And by the way, his fiance's name, Robert, you still with me, buddy? I need your response.
Okay. I'm still here.
So, but I did not, for out of respect to KK, I renamed fiance to Tiffany.
Oh, like it.
Don't say.
You know what? I'm not gonna I'm not gonna even comment on that. Let's just keep going.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna even
yeah,
comment on that one.
yeah.
Because in the way I would think that, can you imagine Will and that Tiffany together? I mean, can you imagine that?
No, I
Yeah.
can't.
But it's always been known as when I first made that comment about him being engaged to a Tiffany, that's been months and months ago when I did that. And of course, here's the Deputy Frank with little Jimmy and Will.
Little Jimmy.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, little Jimmy right there. Little Jimmy.
I thought it was little Jimmy
Yeah.
Hag.
Yeah, see, we had a couple little different tries, and they didn't quite hang. But this one was really good picture for at Stanley's hardware shop. Not quite right with that one. Not quite right. Although I would say that was a nicer Stanley. I didn't like how they made Will young. I said, no, Will's not young. Will's in his mid-20s. And of course, here's Will.
He says that he's in his mid-20s, but we don't. Will could actually be in his 40s.
Yeah,
we don't know.
yeah, true.
Somehow I don't think so,
But you can see where where although sometimes some of these pictures did not come out right, and just minor readjustments, they came out perfect. Like this last one right here. This is the last picture for the story. I mean, look at the picture and tell me who you think that is, Robert.
Well, is that supposed to be you and
Doc
Dre?
and Dread, yes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And of course it got.
But did you come up with something for what was it, Miss Ray's Bake Shop or Bakery?
It was a flower shop.
Yeah, flower shop. See, that's how long I haven't heard the stories.
Yeah, I had something for, but since I was focusing on the alcohol, and of course Stanley has always been the one that would cause the most trouble for Will.
I just thought about something. You said what's in you focus on the alcohol and everything, and since he done got older, and the alcohol is in his sippy cup, so basically he's running around town drunk.
We could say he's feeling good. I won't say he's drunk. I will say he's feeling good. They never done blood alcohol tests on him, so they don't know if he's drunk. But yeah, he's kind of pre-Otis stages of his drinking. Does that make sense?
Okay, so it makes sense. So he's bumped.
Citizens arrest.
Well, if he's pre-Otis is drunk, he need to come riding in town on a bull or a cow.
Okay, now you're thinking of, oh gosh, what was that character's name in Blazing Saddles?
No, Otis did. If you watched it, go back and watch. Go back and watch the old Andy Griffin show. You do see when Otis is drunk a couple of times, he come riding in on a cow. Which he thinks is a horse.
In Blazing Saddles?
Mongo is because he rode in town with on a bull.
And then he punched the bull out, or he punched the horse out. That's right.
Yeah, he punched the horse out because the guy said you can't ride that animal in town. Mongo didn't like that too much. All right.
No, Mongo punched the horse. I'm like, still trying to find what you hit the horse for? The man said it.
Yeah, so Mongo punched the horse out, and so I did play a little bit with the animation using another tool called Photor. The animation did not quite come out right, so I still got to develop that a little bit. But it was taking those pictures that I showed you and actually animate them a little bit, but it only could do them for like 4 seconds clips, and I felt like maybe the picture probably was better. So
did you see the new AI where you could create the characters and they look like the puppets off Sesame Street?
I've seen that. You can do all kinds of stuff with this. And so everyone, are you ready for me to just go ahead and play the video? Put a 1 in the chat. Yeah,
Sure.
put a 1 in the chat if you're ready for the video.
1 in the chat.
Put a 1 in the chat.
And if you just wanted to run the video, put a 2 in the chat. And if you care to see the video, put a 3 in the chat. And if you would like Rod to sing in Latin, put a 4 in the chat.
And if you don't want to hear me sing in Latin, put a 789 in the chat.
Yeah, why was so while we're waiting for all that, Robert, did you know that 10 plus 10 and 11 plus 11 is the same thing?
Did I know that 10 plus 10 and 11 plus 11 is the same thing?
Yeah. What did you get when?
Well, 10 plus 10 is 20. 11 plus
And what's 11 plus 11?
Huh?
What's 11 plus 11?
22.
Right. 22.
20. Oh, okay. I get it.
All right.
I can't believe he felt for that.
All right. So let's go ahead and play the video. Let's go ahead and play the video.
Oh, hey, why did Long Island Audit cross the road?
Why did he cross the road?
He doesn't answer questions.
Okay, here we go. Here's the episode.
Gather around, come take a seat. There's a tale that's so sweet. Magic words and dreams take flight.
Well, hey there, friends. Just go ahead and fast forward to the song. Welcome back to Doc Laneau's Storytime. Now, before we dive into today's story of mysterious moonshine and invisible mischief, go ahead and give that like button a little tap and subscribe if you haven't already. And don't forget to share this story with someone who could use a good laugh. Or maybe just a reminder to keep their clothes on when they're drinking that mystery juice. Got thoughts? Crazy theories? Maybe your own invisible juice moment? Drop a comment below. I love hearing from you. Well, all right then. Now let's get to the story. Will and the Invisible Juice Disaster by Doc Laneau. Did I ever tell you about Dread? Before diving into this next story, you need to meet my fictional evil twin brother, Dread Laneau. Luckily, Dread doesn't visit Cedar Grove very often. He actually prefers to stay away from our town. He always complains that it's too boring. Still, I invited him to stay with me because I needed him to run the bar one Saturday while I was attending a wedding. Of course, I knew I had to warn the town about his impending visit. I informed the shop owners along Main Street, the mayor, and even the police department. Don't get me wrong, Dread would never intentionally hurt anyone, but he does have a knack for stirring up mayhem and chaos just for the fun of it. A few days before that Saturday, I told my patrons that Dread would be managing the bar. I even showed them a picture of Dread and myself. Thinking the town was properly warned, most of the town got the memo, everyone except one person. Will had not stopped by in the days leading up to the event. It struck me as odd, but then again, he was getting married that Saturday. I hope that meant he wouldn't end up meeting Dread on that visit. How wrong was I? Will was extremely nervous about his upcoming wedding. The night before, he couldn't sleep at all. Finally, on Saturday when the bar opened at noon, he decided to come by and talk to me. With this wedding scheduled for 6 p.m. that evening, he just needed a little encouragement. When Will arrived, he found Dread behind the bar, dressed in an unusual outfit of a flannel shirt, blue jeans, and glasses, hoping to fool everyone into thinking he was me. "Hey, Doc," Will greeted, his voice brimming with both excitement and anxiety. "Hi, Will," replied Dread, noticing Will's signature sippy cup. He flashed a sly smile and asked, "What's going on today?" "Not much," Will began. "My wedding is in a few hours, and I'm nervous. I just need some advice. I don't know much about being nervous about getting married, Dredd said. My best advice to you is keep your mind off of it for the next couple hours. That should calm you down. What can I do? Will inquired. Dredd's grin grew even wider. He reached under the bar and pulled out a mason jar. I know a couple of brothers who made this. It's invisible juice. Will, you can run around town invisible for a couple of hours. Play some pranks, even spy on your bride, and no one will see you. That should get your mind off this wedding. Sure, I'll try some, Will agreed. Dredd opened the jar, releasing a strong scent reminiscent of distilled corn. Handing his sippy cup over, Dredd poured most of the invisible juice into it. Doc, what? That's too much. I don't want to take it all from you, Will protested. Will, don't worry. Dredd replied with a wink. I can buy some more from the brothers tonight. The moon will be shining brightly. Will took a sip from his sippy cup. Suddenly Dredd observed. Will, he's just disappeared, but I can see your clothes. Turn them off. Take them off, and I'll keep them safe here. Obediently, Will stripped down, removing everything except for his underwear. Now I'm invisible, he declared. You can keep your underwear on, Dredd countered. Then how can I be invisible? Will asked, puzzled. It's your body sweat that makes your underwear vanish, Dredd explained with a chuckle, keeping it kid-friendly, of course. Oh, that makes sense, Will said. He handed his clothes over to Dredd and happily dashed out onto the main street with the sippy cup of invisible juice in hand. His first stop was Stanley's hardware store, Stanley being a perfect target for a little scare. Will entered the store, grabbed a hammer, and started to play around. Stanley simply stared at in disbelief. Moments later, little Jimmy appeared, carrying his toy plane. The two stood silently for a moment as Will set the hammer aside, then mischievously took the plane from little Jimmy, spinning around and making jet engine sounds. Will put on a little show before returning the plane, grabbing his sippy cup and singing, I am invisible, you can't see me, as he skipped out the door toward the town square. Mr. Stanley, do you think Will met Doc's fictional evil twin? Little Jimmy asked. Yes, little Jimmy, I think so. Outside, Will made his way through the public square, where he encountered Deputy Frank. Just as the deputy was about to ask him what he was doing, Will jumped in. Deputy Frank, don't worry. I know you see my sippy cup floating. Doc gave me some invisible juice, so I'm off to sneak into Tiffany's bridal chamber to see what she's going on in there. Doc gave you what? Deputy Frank asked, clearly taken aback. Shh! It's invisible juice, Will whispered covertly. I don't want you to be alarmed by my floating sippy cup. See you later, Deputy. I'm not sure if you will see me anyways. Will skipped away, leaving Deputy Frank to shake his head in bemusement. Shortly afterward, little Jimmy approached the deputy. Will met Doc's fictional evil twin brother today, he informed. Deputy Frank replied, I see that, little Jimmy. Where are you off to now? I'm following Will. I want to see what he does next, little Jimmy said eagerly. Do me a favor. Don't let him get into too much trouble, Deputy Frank warned. I won't, Deputy Frank, little Jimmy promised before running off. Later, Will arrived at the Cedar Grove bed and breakfast and stepped into the foyer. The wedding planner, barely concealing a roll in her eyes, continued setting up for the wedding as he quietly headed upstairs to the bridal suite. He opened the door to find the bride and her bridesmaids getting their makeup done. as Will tiptoed into the room. Tiffany suddenly looked up and yelled, "Will, what are you doing?" Before he could answer, he quickly took another sip of his sippy cup. "Will, what is wrong with you?" Tiffany demanded. Just then, little Jimmy poked his head in and announced, "Miss Tiffany, Will met Doc's fictional evil twin brother today." Tiffany's face, which had turned red at first, softened a bit. "Thank you, Jimmy, little Jimmy. Could you please run back to Doc's place and see if you can find Will's clothes? Ask Dredd. He should know where they are." "Yes, ma'am," little Jimmy replied with a smile as he dashed off, excited to help. Tiffany then sternly instructed, "Will, go into the room next door and sit there until the wedding. And the next 2 words you say must be, 'I do.'" Will began to protest, but Tiffany cut in firmly. "I said the next 2 words out of your mouth will be, 'I do.' Now go." I later heard from all the guests at the reception what had happened that day. I tried to locate Will, but he was nowhere to be found. He had simply vanished again. I left the reception and returned to the bar where Dredd was locking up for the night. "What did you do today?" I asked him. "Just had a little fun," Dredd replied with a laugh. "You owe me a old jar of moonshine." I retorted, "No, I don't." Dredd just laughed as he walked away, leaving me to ponder that day's events. And I have to ask, do you have your own fictional evil twin? The end. And that, my friends, was Will and the Invisible Juice Disaster. A tale of nerves, moonshine, and just a little too much confidence. Now, if you've got a story idea, something wild, something weird, or something that could only happen in your hometown, I want to hear it. Send it to me at j.laneau.stories@gmail.com. You never know, your story could be next. And don't go too far, cause up next, the music video for Invisible Will, the Sippy Cup Song, is dropping soon, and you won't want to miss that. Until next time, take care of yourself, and Will, shut up. Let me tell you a story.
Well, Will walked into the bar that day with nerves and a sippy cup tucked away. He said, "Doc, I'm getting married soon, but my stomach's twisting like a lassoed raccoon." Then Dredd, with a wink and a sneaky grin, said, "Try this juice and let the games begin." Will took a gulp, felt a magical shift. Clothes stayed behind, but his mood got a lift. "I'm invisible, you can't see me. Skipping down Main with a sippy of mystery. Playing with hammers, flying toy planes, making the whole town question their brains. Oh, I'm invisible, or so I think, till the bride sees me and throws a wink. It's a juice disaster, but I feel alive. Just hope I say I do by 5. He's scared, poor Stanley with a ghostly bop took little Jimmy's plane on a victory hop. Down at the square, Deputy Frank froze at the side of a cup with no legs or clothes. Doc gave me juice, Will proudly brag, as Jimmy followed close with a hat that sagged. But Tiffany caught him with fire in her eyes. "You're not invisible, you're barely a surprise." "I'm invisible, you can't see me. With my cup and confidence, wild and free. Burst into the suite, oh, what a scene. Tiffany's yell could wipe a man clean. Oh, I'm invisible, it's all pretend, but the chaos won't stop till the very end. Just 2 more words before the vows are due. I do, that'll
twilight rolls in. Doc finds dread with the devious grin. What did you do? Doc starts to pry. I just gave the groom a way to fly. So here's to love and sippy cups too, to pranks and twins and moonshine brew. If life gets wild and your plans go bust, grab some invisible juice and adjust.
Hey, okay, Nerd Girl's here.
Gotta like the
Hey.
thing.
And I see your little avatar dancing to the music.
Yep. But unfortunately, I don't think in this environment that I'm in right now, you can actually see my mouth move. But I am talking. You
Yeah,
guys can
hey.
hear me. Hi. Finally.
Yeah. Oh,
Hey, Jen, how you doing?
So that was fun up there, and I enjoyed that. Making this episode, I told Nerd Girl during the week, I had to go to ChatGPT. I just did not think Copilot had the creativity that ChatGPT had as far as creating pictures and assisting with that. And of course, the music is from Suno.com. That's who I use to after I get the lyrics, put in Suno, and they
Hey,
create.
Yeah. I hate to break it to you, but I've got to go take the puppy to the vet at this point.
Okay. Yes.
So Jen's going to fill in for me, right, Jen?
No. Of course. Is the dog
Yeah,
okay?
we think so. She's okay. She's just getting a follow up. She had to have some stuff done a couple weeks ago, and we're going to make sure she's got to run some more tests.
Oh, okay.
But she's a puppy. She's still just getting out of puppyhood, so that's okay.
It's one of those. I get it.
And to answer Will's question, when do we get to the juice disaster? The disaster was, Will, that you were running down around town in your underwear. That was the disaster.
In your boxers,
Yeah.
dude.
You were the disaster. Let's just put it that way.
Oh, Will's not a disaster.
Technically,
Come on,
we should-
cut Will some slack here. We pick on Will too much.
Technically,
Let's pick on Rob instead.
technically he was a thong.
I'm not going to do that. Not going.
I
No,
can't believe
no,
that,
no,
sir.
no. Not going to do that. Wouldn't be prudent. Would not be prudent.
Wouldn't be good. Wouldn't be prudent. Not gonna do it. It's not
Running a thong. Will running a thong. Bad. Bad idea. Yeah.
Bad idea.
Yeah, bad idea. But, which brings in our next phase of this conversation. And let me throw my screen back up here.
Well, as we switch phases, I'm gonna have to duck out. I'll see you guys later. If I get back from the vet in time, I'll get back on.
So let's do this. Let's ask, using the same chat, why don't we ask ChatGPT, where would Will and Tiffany go to on their honeymoon? And I think the question needs to be more qualified as knowing that Will is, although he's in his mid-20s, he's kind of a little bit child at heart. Would everyone agree with that?
Well,
I
Yeah.
think so.
Okay. Yeah.
yeah, I would say
And
so.
Tiffany would probably a little bit more grounded, I would think. She couldn't be a child at heart neither, but at the same time, she doesn't want Will not to have fun, but she would have to be at times the serious one. So, yeah.
Yeah.
So let's qualify that. All right, you got to get out of my way so I can put my keyboard down. All right, where would Will and Tiffany go on their honeymoon? Will is a child at heart, and tends to get into trouble. And Tiffany is more serious. They would go somewhere. where that both would have fun. Although I would argue that Will probably could have fun anywhere he goes to, just probably not. Okay, it was child at heart and tens. I probably want to change that to get into trouble. And Tiffany, I'm not going to worry about too much on grammar. Okay, but let's see what it tells me. Give me 10 choices. I should have said, give me 10 choices. Oh, well, give me some choices. Orlando. Okay, I see Orlando as well, a choice. Gatlinburg, Tennessee. Maui, Hawaii. Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. San Diego, California. Okay, so where do you think they would go to? Robert.
Well, I would say they would go to Orlando because if you say he's a child at heart, but Tiffany is a little bit more serious,
Yeah,
it's a lot of places going to
that's
Orlando.
true. That's true. And Nerd Girl, what do you think?
As I frantically try to get my mute button. Yeah, I would definitely say Disney World.
Okay.
Knowing Will, he's a big old kid, and I think he'd take Tiffany along for the ride. So that's what
Okay,
I
so
think.
they would go to Disney World for okay. Great. So Will and Tiffany decided to go to Disney World for their honeymoon. Create 10 ideas of Sippy Cup for the next Sippy Cup shenanigan story.
So are we looking to make
It
this
is a series.
Doc?
It's already a series. Yeah, it's a mini series.
Okay.
This is like the 8th or 9th story in the series that we just did this week.
But
It's,
but will it be a point? Will it be a point where he could graduate from the Sippy Cup maybe to a flask?
when he's a little older, when he starts to slowing down, maybe when he has kids. So then he might eventually get.
I mean, but
Because and that story would be is when the kids picks up his sippy cup, and then and the craziness ensues. So that he was forced to start using the flask. All right, so ChatGPT answers this question. Oh yes, we'll at Disney World honeymoon theme parks invisible juice potential. Probably not. Sippy cup shenanigan masterpiece waiting to happen. Okay. Here are some 10 wild story-worthy Sippy Cup shenanigans. So, first one, the Haunted Mansion hang-up. Will sneaks his Sippy Cup into the ride, one sip to me, and he's convinced he's becoming one of the 999 happy haunts. He starts giving ghost tours during... I can see that. I wonder if the ride ninjas would be involved on that one. What do you think?
that that would be kind of good though. That would be a way to go for that character because we know right now we know what's in his sippy cup.
Yeah, we
So,
know why he tends
yeah.
to drink into sippy cup. Hey, Mr. MC, you sneaked in. I did not see you. I'm sorry about that. Now I've made a comment about ride ninjas. Have you guys ever heard of those?
No, I haven't.
So the urban legend is Disney has staff members who hides in the darkness of the rides, and if someone does something,
Oh, the haunted. You talking about the haunted mansion, right?
just Disney World in general. So the urban legend, and it is an urban legend. I don't know how truthful it is. I can see some truth to it, but the legend is that Disney has staff dressed in all black that hides in the darkness of the rides, and if someone gets off the ride or gets out of the ride or misbehaves in the ride or just something bad uh, or something that does not have supposed to happen on the ride happens, they're there to fix it and take care of the problem. And you don't see them unless you do something that you're not supposed to do. So if you hear me here to use the phrase ride ninja, that's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Like I said,
That makes sense.
it's an urban legend. I don't know if it's true or not, but it's kind of one of those little things that fascinates me with Disney, Disney World in general. Okay, Donald Duck is not amused. Will challenges Donald to dance off during a character meet and greet. Security is called when he tries to free the ducks from costume oppression.
Well, think about it this way, Doc. Think about it this way. This could be like a chapter 2 of the invisible juice disaster, because I mean, he could bring the invisible juice to Disney World, and that would be the reason why Donald Duck doesn't have any pants.
No, I don't think Tiffany will allow the invisible juice part carry on into the honeymoon. she knew what happened. It was kind of implied in the story, but she cannot. But she knows he will carry his sippy cup in, and believe it or not, you can buy alcohol in Disney World.
Yeah, you can.
Yes. All right. Alien Encounter 2: Will's Revenge. Will misreads Buzz Lightyear's Space Ranger spin has a real training facility. He tries to enlist a group of 6-year-olds into his elite laser brigade. Okay, yeah, I could see Will doing that. Rob?
Well, yeah, but if you know, yeah, I can see him doing that, but it comes, it takes me right back to what's in this scene, because it make him seem like he had too much to drink.
Yeah, well, this is why we pick on Will, okay? A sticky situation in Pooh's corner.
I mean, Will doesn't imbibe all that much, does he? I mean,
no,
Mr.
Will,
real Will, a lot more than I do.
The real Will does not drink as much as he does. You got to realize the Sippy Cup Shenanigans idea was born because Will was one of the youngest people in this particular genre of YouTube.
Well, for what I know, the real Will.
Say that real fast, right?
He drinks hard liquor though. I'm not talking about hard lemonade. I mean hard liquor.
I mean, to be fair, I drink hard liquor too, but I only have like one, and I sip it for a good 20-30 minutes.
No,
I don't guzzle it. Yeah, and there's nothing wrong drinking hard liquor, and Will's just not like that. But we're making fun of him a little bit. This is us teasing him a little. He says at best he probably drinks IPA, which I think that's awful beer. That's my opinion. All right, a sticky situation in Pooh's corner. After a sippy sip, Will tries to rescue the honey from the gift shop. Tiffany finds him stuck in a giant plush bear display yelling, "I'm here now." Okay. All right. Royal Flush. Will gets lost in Cinderella's castle and ends up giving the relationship advice to confused princess performers. He's later spotted in a full prince costume trying to help Ariel file taxes. Okay. Yeah, I can see that. And the thing about Disney World's castle, it actually does have a suite in it.
It does.
Yes, it was originally designed.
Yeah,
it does. It was originally designed for Walt to stay there. Walt Disney never actually used it, but every now and then, they will allow someone to stay in it. So it's not very well. It's not a room that's often used. that's one of my little dreams. If I could spend one night in the Cinderella's Castle suite, that would be awesome. And then I would actually do a live stream where we during the firework display from the angle from up there of the audience.
Yeah, that would be cool.
See, but
That
the,
would be cool.
see, but the,
Yeah.
see, but the thing is, though, I'm 2 hours away from Disney World, so you
Yeah.
know, I to me it's nothing big because I don't been to it's going to Disney World for me. It's like nothing because I don't see the fireworks and everything. But yeah,
Well, I'm
it could be at some point it
yeah.
get pretty fun.
Well, I'm still a Florida resident, but I'm in 4 to 6 hours away from Disney World. Whereas you could probably just go get the annual pass on a Saturday or Sunday, just hop in your car, go to Disney World, and enjoy Disney World almost every weekend of the year. It takes a little bit more planning for myself. So,
Yeah.
and I wish I was just 2 hours away from Disney World because I would maybe every other year have a Disney pass and be going to Disney World at least 20 times that year.
But sometimes the fun things is outside of Disney World when you go to Kissimmee and you go like to the little small theme parks that they have around
Well,
there.
I won't argue that. Yeah, I won't argue
Like
with that. I won't argue with that.
like like when you go to Ripley's Believe It or Not. Now that's fun.
Okay, so we're on number 6, correct? Will versus the fireworks.
Mhm.
One step in, Will becomes terrified that the nightly fireworks are a sign of invasion. He builds a safety bunker out of Mickey's pretzel boxes. That is such a good idea. That one, he's staying at near like the Floridian or one of the resorts that's along that's in front of Magic Kingdom. You guys know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I do.
every night, the first night, okay, I could see Will not knowing what fireworks was, or the fact that he's dealt with fireworks the first couple of nights, and he thinks it's some sort of invasion, and or so intoxicated, he builds that little fort, and Tiffany has to get him out. But that might actually be pretty decent. Or he does it during while he's in the Magic Kingdom, builds a little fort underneath, trying to protect himself from the fireworks. And Tiffany, of course, will not go underneath the fort and says, "Well, you embarrassed me." Okay, we'll go from there. Next one, Sorcerer's Apprentice, the wheel cut. Will borrows a cast member's broom to help clean up Tomorrowland. It ends up with him flooding a churro stand with it and standing and yelling, "I've lost control of the magic." Okay. The Great Mickey Mixed Up, number 8. Will tries to give Mickey Mouse a heartfelt wedding speech in the middle of a parade. Tiffany pretends not to know him. Goofy covers for him. I don't know. I see that happening. I can see that happening.
You
And
think?
yeah. Will trying to talk to Mickey and Minnie about getting married. Will drinks the sippy cup before this is Splash Mountain final round. Will drinks the sippy cup before the big drop, but declares he's now waterproof, and he insists on riding in 17 times in a row. Tiffany rides once, leaves, files emotional damage claims. Okay.
Boy.
All right. And number 10, banned from Epcot. Will attempts to visit every country in the World Showcase with a different sippy blend. He makes it to Germany before accidentally proposing to a stranger in Italy while dressing as a Viking. Okay, we can probably do something with that. I don't like the idea of him proposing to a stranger.
No, I don't either.
But I can see something like that happening where he has a drink for each different country. Sake for Japan, Kentucky bourbon for the USA, some sort of maybe a Scotch or whiskey from England, whiskey from Canada. I'm sorry. I'm thinking out loud here. France. Well, France has brandy, right?
I would say
They do have French bourbon.
Be-
Okay.
be cognac, but I don't think it's that.
Yeah. Yeah. You have also then you have China. You have tequila from Mexico. Norse would have uh, mead. Yeah. You could.
But what about like you mentioned Canada? Why don't you just just an old fashioned old Canadian beer?
Just something about beer in a sippy cup just doesn't seem right. But then again, we are talking about alcohol in a sippy cup, so I guess that whole concept is not right. But there are some Canadian whiskeys out there, too. So yeah, Canadian Royal Crown or Crown Royal, whatever that. Yeah, Crown Royal is Canadian. So yeah, we can probably do something like that. So my question is, between the 10 guys, which ones did y'all like best?
Mr. Thomas, I'll let you pick.
I like the one about the when he goes into Tomorrowland.
Tomorrowland, where he's
I like the I like the one about Tomorrowland, or either the one about Cinderella's castle.
all right. So we got number 3, Alien Encounter 2, Will's Revenge, Will Mysteries, Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger spin as a real training facility. He tries to enlist a group of 6-year-olds into his elite laser brigade. And let's see. I'm trying to find it. Bear with me. I know Royal Flush. Will gets lost in Cinderella's castle and ends up giving relationship advice to confused princesses performers. So it's not even going to be just Cinderella. You would have Snow White. You would have uh, let's see, Cinderella, Snow White, Ariel, other princesses from the Disney movies, Princess Leia. I think the big advice.
I just thought of something.
What's that?
When you mentioned Disney princesses, don't forget Dr. Frankenfurter.
See, that was one of those. Which one was that one from?
Rocky Horror Picture Show.
And how's that associated with Disney?
That movie is now owned by Disney, I think.
Oh, okay.
Is it?
Yep.
Disney's been buying up a lot of property, so yeah,
Disney buying up a lot of things.
yeah. I mean, it's kind of like remember the movie Demolition Man? And what was there was only one restaurant now, or in that time and during that movie, and that was Taco Bell, because Taco Bell took over all the other restaurants, and now it's just Taco Bell's. It doesn't matter how fancy or fast food it is; it's Taco Bell.
I mean, here I will put this in our green room chat, Doc. But the Rocky Horror Picture Show is now owned by the Walt Disney Company after their acquisition of 20th Century Fox.
Okay. Yeah, I got mixed feelings on that, and I do have a strong belief about something. I think a lot of people may agree with me on this. The worst, and I'm going to use wrestling as my example. I always believe, my opinion of the worst thing that ever happened to professional wrestling was when Vince McMahon bought WCW and brought WCW underneath the WWE's framework. Because what happened was, at that point in time, there was only one major wrestling production, and it had no other competition. If you were a wrestling fan, that meant you're going to watch WWE. Yeah.
Right.
So, but during the days leading up to WCW being sold, I felt the product between the two, WCW and WWE, was really good. and every now and then WCW would start to slip a little bit, and WWE would start up the game a little bit, and you would. It was not uncommon to see people just kind of switching back and forth. Right after WWE kind of took over everything, I felt that the production value of WWE went down because why? There's no competition. Competition makes you want to do better.
Well, what do you think about it now with them going up against AEW?
AEW. So I think AEW kind of is a very brand new organization. It's they're not. They don't have the same numbers as WWE has, and I do.
Well, they was building on their numbers. Once when McMahon had the WWE, but once he started having his personal problems come out, and he was and he stepped down, and his son-in-law took over. So the AEW sort of kind of dropped because they was sort of kind of passing them for a little while.
Well,
and I will say, I'm sorry, Mr. Thomas, please go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead.
I've actually been to both shows. I've been to two AEW Dynamite tapings when it was in the north side of Indianapolis. I took the Nerdling to go check that out. And this past February, I took the Nerdling to go see the Royal Rumble when it was in Indianapolis. So seeing how the sausage gets made a little bit from a behind the scenes standpoint is, to be honest, I think WWE puts on a better house show. I mean, granted, it was a pay-per-view that we went to see, but the production value on both is pretty on par with each other. I mean, I haven't gone to a AEW pay-per-view yet, but as soon as one gets local to us, I would definitely, want to go. But, seeing, both sides of it, I think from a production perspective, they're both kind of on par with each other. I do have to give it to Paul Levesque, who is Vince McMahon's son-in-law. He is truly listening to the fans. I don't think Vince ever did. There was a lot. I mean, I grew up in the, ruthless aggression era, all of the stuff that is not PG when it comes to that. But I really think that Paul Levesque brought a whole resurgence back into the storytelling, and that's really what I kind of dig. But he needs to bring the Wyatt Six back. That's all I'm gonna say, because I'm a big Wyatt Six.
I grew up. I grew up in the golden era and the attitude era. So I'd have been to the house shows when they didn't have all of the glitz and the glamour, when it just came through the curtain. So I grew up, going to the old house shows when when they would come down to Miami and come to the arena or either just the convention center.
Right.
But then I also went to the house shows when they had the attitude era, when they were starting to build up. And when they, he was trying to move on like from the 80s and the 90s stars and trying to build up onto the new stars that was coming in. So now when you go to a house show, it's almost like you going to a regular, it seemed like you just going to a regular TV taping. It's almost like what you see on TV. Then when you go to a house show, you don't, you didn't see, any of the, like the giant screens or the jumbotron. You didn't see any of that at a regular
house show.
You
did not. No. Back in the day, it was the house shows were a lot of times just them practicing what you're going to see on the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Or on a bigger show.
They'll be running. They would be running, see how this would work out. Then if it work out fine, we would put it on, see how it work on Raw or either
you're testing
SmackDown.
it out.
See, but when the time I was going there, you had shows like Superstars Wrestling Challenge and Primetime Wrestling, which was like they would shoot like 3 or 4 shows at one house show.
Right. Oh yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and I remember that too. WWF. This is early '90s. Was at one of my local arenas. They said that they were recording, and I none of the matches I watched that particular day I didn't see except for one, which was months later on on one of their 1 hour programs. And
That's how they was used to do it back then.
that's how they did it back then. And now with the live shows, and you can credit WCW on that one with Monday Night Nitro doing their shows live, which made WWF at the time WWF make Monday Night Raws going live because WCW was actually doing a little sneaky thing, like when people get
Monday
yeah,
Night
they would
Wars.
say, yeah, by the way,
Yeah.
so and so did win this match. So you don't need to go switch over to WWF to watch their wrestling match. That's who won.
Yeah.
You know, look,
See,
I
but
was
what
watching Monday night. I was watching Nitro when that happened. So that was a Richard move. I won't say the
yeah,
other word.
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
I watched
I
that
won't
with
argue
my
with that
see,
statement,
but
but they were kind of a little ruthless back then. Yeah,
They
they were
were.
very ruthless. But
see,
that to me was what I'm talking about. The competition
see,
made them get better. Without competition,
yeah,
you're not going to strive to get better. You you got to have a little
I
bit
know.
of competition.
But what also helping them and is they also working with their competition. If you take NXT and TNA, they're actually working together. You
Yeah,
may
they
have
are.
like
They've got a partnership, and it's been outstanding. To
it's
see some
been
NXT talent
yes,
and back and forth.
it's it's actually made something because technically I forgot about
Yeah,
TNA
TNA was
until they started
yeah
working
TNA
together.
You and half the country, Mr.
yeah
Thomas.
TNA. I was actually watching TNA more faithful a few years back until it's kind of like they went to that other network that was really small, and then after that they just kind of faded away.
That's why I forgot about it because they moved them off Access.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And I mean, I remember when they were over at Universal, and that's where they were doing their recordings, and yeah, I tried to get over to Universal just so I can watch that on their live recordings.
yeah. And I would think if AEW, as they work with the wrestling promotion in Japan, but I would think if they would work with their competition as well as MLW or either just
Hmm.
bringing the old NWA, that may just help you bring AEW up to WWE level.
Yeah, well, and yeah, NWA though it was really how you had your world champions back then because back in the day you had uh, promotions that were just regional. You did not have anything like we have now,
Yeah,
where one particular promotion might cover like one or two states, and they had
yeah,
their world
like
champion,
in
or they had their champion. Then another promotion would have their champion, and then another promotion would have another champion. And NWA was how they would have the world champion of the group.
Hmm.
Uh, yeah,
yeah,
and yeah, back in the '80s, I was more of an NWA fan than WWF. Not because I didn't like WWF. It was harder for me to catch WWF action in my area.
Yeah.
So now the USA Network did have WWF, and every now and then you had a Saturday night main event. But you're talking about you really did not know what was going on in WWF if you were not in the Northeast.
yeah, because that was their
That was their
territory, the
territory. Yes,
Northeast territory.
Yep.
yes. Uh,
Because if you was in the territory that we was in, you would either see Georgia Championship Wrestling or you see Florida Championship Wrestling or either World Class in Texas. We would get
huh.
that. Those was like the territories that we get there. And if you go up like to the Midwest, you may get the AWA, which was where Vince McMahon got most of his talent from in the 80s.
Yeah.
That's like another reason why the AWA went out of business, because he got most of their talent from them, because basically the AWA didn't want to pay them, so they went. Which I don't blame. I'm gonna go. Who's gonna pay me?
And you know what? I am happy that we're into this conversation because I have been wanting to do a wrestling discussion episode. So down there, I know that Robert and Nerd Girl Jen's World are both into wrestling, and I've actually had reached out to someone that I know is pretty big in wrestling too, and I'm going to see if I can bring her in. We will have a wrestling episode. And I'm going to have to interrupt this discussion because we'll spend the rest of the time just talking about wrestling. And I don't want to. I want us to talk about wrestling, but not. Let's not talk about wrestling here. Not today. We got this up.
Yeah.
Now, but let me bounce this idea off of you. All right, these are 10 ideas. Let's say, Will and Tiffany goes to Orlando. While in Orlando, Will gets a wild idea to go to a wrestling event. And somehow he winds up in the ring wrestling a wrestler. We'll make up a wrestler name. Don't want to actually use a real wrestler. But we'll make up a wrestler name. That the guy's a big fella and all that kind of stuff. And of course, Will's getting his tail handed to him by the wrestler.
But what do we just call him? El Sippy Cupo.
Oh yeah, that would be Will's mask wrestling name. El Sippy Cup. That's a good idea. That's a good idea. I like that. I'm going to hang on to that one. And Tiffany runs in to save El Sippy Cupo from sheer destruction when she grabs a chair, hits the other wrestler, ducks down, goes underneath the curtain, and Will covers him for that 1, 2, 3. What do you guys think? Do you think that might be a fun idea, or
I would dig it. Matter of fact, I'm sorry, I'll shush.
Nerd Girl first, and then
Go ahead, Rob. Go ahead.
I actually looked up on my other screen here a wrestling name generator, and knowing the story that we just heard, I've got the perfect name for Will. And Doc, it's in the green room chat.
Luke. Oh, I like that. Luigi the Juice Swanson.
Luigi the Juice Swanson.
Oh, Rob, what's your 2 cents?
No, I would like that. Just hopefully you need to have the referee distracted so he won't get disqualified.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Dredd could be the one that's distracting the referee. Why not?
It'll be
Dredd
more
could
good
be
if
the Jim Cornette of the story.
The Jim Cornette, or either the evil wrestling promoter.
Yeah, Dredd could be the evil wrestling promoter. He happens to be there because that's kind of his real job. Yay, nay. Is that too much?
No.
Okay. Yeah. Dredd can be the one. Dredd can be the one that persuades Will into the wrestling ring. Because Dredd would do that. Right? Yes? Yeah.
Yep. I think he would.
So for Will's honeymoon, he gets into a wrestling match. For real, professional wrestling match. Almost loses until Tiffany hits the other wrestler with a chair, knocking him out. Will covers 1, 2, 3. All because Dredd distracts the referee. Now, going a step further, we'll have Dredd telling the story. How's that sound?
That's pretty good.
So here's the thing that I'm going to say about this. I invested a little bit into AI voice generation tools. It did clone my voice, so basically I probably won't be reading as much now. but it also has other voices. And one of them is a British. I found a British voice that I thought would be perfect for Dredd because Dredd's the evil fictional twin brother. He's gonna be British.
Would
He
Dread?
would have a British accent.
I don't, would Dread be more diabolical?
Well, Dredd's remember the description is he's not there to call to. He just wants to cause chaos. To him, it's funny. He's having fun. He wouldn't be diabolical like he's trying to get someone hurt.
No, not hurt, but they just like to mess up things.
Yeah, he wants to mess up things. He wants to cause the chaos. He knows that he can persuade Will to go into the wrestling ring and win this sure thing because Will wants to get win a prize for his girl. He wants to win a prize for Tiffany. So yeah, I can see that happening.
So in other words, he wants to win a prize for Tiffany, but he get into these situations, but Tiffany got to come help him out the situations that he get into.
Yes, Tiffany's the one who's going to save the day. I mean, remember what Tiffany said. The next two words out of your mouth will be "I do."
Better be I do.
And go in there
Yep.
and shut up.
Yeah.
She's going to be the one who fixes things. She has to be because Will's too fun-loving, and he doesn't, and sometimes naive, and that's how he finds himself in these troubles. For whatever reason, he's just too naive for his own good. At the same time, he's not a dummy neither. He can go into the situation and create a little situation where he's can manipulate it a little bit to where he can come out on top. But every now and then, Tiffany's got to get in and fix the problem. But and that's just saying the truth for us men out there in the world. We got to have our women folk help us fix our problems. So I put a one in the chat if you agree with that.
But that is true, though. That is
Yeah.
really true.
That is true. Yeah. So, and and here's something I've discovered today. I read in an article. That one nerd girl. Did you know that 1 out of 5 women are diagnosed with an anger problem, with anger issues? Did you know that?
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, but I really feel sorry for the other 4 women because they're walking around not being diagnosed, not getting the proper treatment for the anger issue.
Oh.
Sure about you sure about that?
Okay, I'm sorry.
I'm like, you sure about that, Doc?
Let's put it this way: if next week this becomes Nerd Girl show, you know what happened. All right. So we'll have to start working on that. I'll have to start working on this script, but these 10 current points, we're not even using any of them because we got into talking about wrestling, and I came up with the idea. Well, what happens if Will gets into a wrestling match? So that's going to be fun. That's going to be very, very fun.
Yeah, it would be. I mean, he get talked into going into a wrestling match, and he has to wrestle this big, huge guy that's like 10 times his size. Right. And you have, Dredd set that up that he has to wrestle this guy that's 10 times. He told Will something else, but it turns out it was a guy that's like way bigger than him.
And the reason why he's doing that is because he has money on Will losing. So he's thinking that he can get a little payday. Nurko, can you create me a wrestler name? See if that generator will create us a wrestler name that Will could be fighting against. Someone that's kind of big, and name kind of reflects that.
All right, let me do one thing. Hold on one sec. Okay. Let's do this one. Yeah. Now those look a little too lame. Let's do.
Of course, the wrestler has to be a heel.
Okay, I am putting something in the green room chat, and if it's a heel, this might work.
I think that will. Well, I like the name, but let's call him Big Brian. Kiss my asshole. So let me write that down. So. And I need another wrestler name because I think that Robert was going in the right direction. The reason why Will agreed to it is because he thinks he's going to be wrestling someone that's kind of on a wimpy end. So what can we have a wimpy sounding name?
And that wrestler.
Oh,
has to
I've
be
got one.
Okay.
I've got one. It's in the green room.
Yeah, that would work.
It's a cheesecake. Washington.
Yeah, we won't call
Cheesecake.
him Nathan. We'll just call him Cheesecake Washington. I think that would work out nicely.
Yeah, Cheesecake Washington.
So yeah, Cheesecake Washington is the one that Doc Dredd tells him that he's going to be wrestling. So okay, Big Brian, kiss my asshole. Okay, so I'll develop that into a story. Of course, Robert, expect an email from me sometime this week with the story, so you won't be totally surprised. And Jen, of course, I'm going to do the same. I'm going to be sending you an email with the story.
Okay.
And I will loop David in there. And of course, we'll have to let ChatGPT help me create these songs because I like to write the stories myself. And then use ChatGPT help me edit a little bit and improve upon it. And then go from there and create the images that we need and all that good stuff. And so I think we can have fun with this. And we'll definitely have a show next week, but the following week I might be traveling and probably will not be able to do a show. I'm not even going to try to do a show. Let's just say I am not going to be going live in 2 Sundays because I'm going to probably be either just got back from being out of town or I'm still traveling back to town. So I just better not to try to do a show.
Now you could take traveling 2 ways.
There is a reason why I said there is a reason why I said what I said. Why are you messing with me while I'm trying to work with a keyboard? Silly kid.
She wants your attention.
She wants your attention.
When I first got on the line, I'm like, wait a minute, do I hear a cat?
Yeah, well, she's sitting on my desk and she started pushing my keys. I took the keyboard, hitting my backspace so she doesn't hit enter, and she's starting to slap my hand while I'm doing all that.
She's saying, "Pay attention to me,
Yeah,
Dad."
and this one can be really tiresome when it comes to me working on Sunday. Well, not working, and especially when I have meetings. This one actually decided she was
Mhm.
going to moon everybody at one of my meetings.
That's basic cat
Yeah,
logic.
exactly,
Yep.
exactly. She's just like, where's the camera? Okay, there it is. Woo! My boss just started laughing her head off. She's like, okay, that was just perfect. What I mean, cats can be the biggest assholes there are. Pardon my French. Uh,
And that's why I like them. I mean, you know, cats won't, they won't tell on you. They
they
won't.
are.
But dogs will though. Will actually help the police find the drugs. The cat will look at you and just keep going.
Yeah, it's like whatever. Yeah, dogs though. I mean, dogs. They're brown nosers. I mean, really think about it. They are brown nosers. They do brown nose their big time for their masters. I know. Hey, I know there's some people in the audience that are dog people, not cat people. There's people that in there that are kind of both. But if you had both, you probably would agree with me. Dogs, cats are kind of little a-holes,
I like
and dogs kind of little brown
I like
nose.
don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I like dogs, but I like cats just a little bit
Well,
more
cats kind of got it's their personalities. It seems to be so different from a dog.
because basically a cat choose
Oh
you.
yeah,
Yeah.
they cat will choose you. And oh, I tell you, I had one situation where I let one of the cats in, and this particular cat, if you let her stay out a minute longer than she wanted to be outside, she's going to tell you about it. She'll be walking through the door, meow, 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 just telling you about it. And one particular day, I was not going to have it because I tried to get her back inside. And I said, I told you to come back inside half an hour ago. And you know what that cat did? She stopped with her walking, turned around, looked right at me, and went, meow, and turned around and walked away. And I'm like, did I just got chewed out by my cat?
9
Your
times out
cat
of
was
10,
having
yeah.
none of
Yeah,
it, Doc.
she was not having any of it. That particular one will fuss at you when she's not having her way. So, but at the same time, she's also the sweetest one when she wants something from you.
Of
Yeah.
course.
So yeah, but hey, we're going to have some fun with this. I think we're going to enjoy the special wheel wrestling event. I am still working on my Pee Wee Gaskins video, which is going now. I see it how I can get it accomplished. I just have to be working it a little bit on the side as well as working on my stories and so forth. The problem with a video like Pee Wee Gaskins, and are you guys familiar with Pee Wee Gaskins? I know I probably yeah, okay,
I
yes,
am.
good. Robert, you know about Pee Wee Gaskins?
No.
Let's put it this way: he is a serial killer, the probably most horrifying, scariest serial killers that you never heard of.
Okay.
Okay, I think that's probably the best way to describe him. He's probably one of those guys that not many people heard about, but when they do hear about, you're wondering why the heck did I not hear about this guy? All right,
And is this, I don't want to, come off like, is this a real
he
person
is
or
a
is
real
this a
person. He
fictional
is a
character?
real person. This is
Okay.
me delving into a more of a documentary type of show about something that did happen. And I chose going the route of Pee Wee Gaskins because Pee Wee Gaskin and I are from the same area. So,
Oh,
So
okay.
there's a little bit of a, I guess, a hometown, well, home community feel to it for me. It's kind of like if I was to do a documentary about Melvin Purvis. He is from the same area as I am. Now, do you guys know who Melvin Purvis is or was?
I do.
Yeah. How about you?
Again, I don't.
He was the man responsible for bringing down John Dillinger.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And sad truth about that one was I think he kind of got a lot of popularity from his Dillinger manhunt to the point that it made J. Edgar Hoover jealous of him. Uh, which, yeah, he kind of left the FBI shortly after that because there was problems between him and J. Edgar Hoover. Yeah.
Huh?
In fact, when he left the FBI, the state of South Carolina was trying to form something similar to FBI, but for state agencies. FBI, J. Edgar Hoover did not want that to happen because he wanted there to be one investigative agency like the FBI and not 50 others. Of course, nowadays, almost every state has some form of investigative agency. Some call them the State Bureau of Investigation or SBI. South Carolina calls theirs
Yeah.
South Carolina Law Enforcement Division, or SLED, standing for State Law Enforcement Division. But everyone, all the 50 states has that kind of investigative service, who basically sometimes will go into these smaller communities who do not have their own detectives to help them investigate these type of crimes.
Right.
FBI is not responsible for state crimes. You would not call the FBI in to help you investigate a serious murder unless there was some sort of federal tie into it. In other words, the victim might have came from another state, indicating that maybe they were brought there by a so it might be a kidnapping as well as murder. So, but
Or either the victim was somewhat of a high-ranking politician, or either
even then,
somebody from another country.
it has to be.
From another country, the FBI did, but well, no, that'd be the CIA.
Well, no, if it's like I said, there's got to be some sort of federal law tie into that for FBI to be able to investigate. You might say in a serial killer type of situation, usually those situations are that they take place over several state lines. So that's how the FBI gets tied in, because they're trying to be that central resource for all the other agencies that's doing the investigation for the same criminal. But like I said, one-off criminal case where a heinous murder occurred, but you don't think it's a serial killer. You don't see any other out-of-state tie-ins. It's just that something bad happened, and it probably happened in that community. FBI is not going to come in to investigate. They're going to bring in the state investigative services to do that.
Right.
So, and that's kind of why when I think of J. Edgar Hoover not wanting states to have their own little investigative service, that was a person that really did not know how our government is supposed to work. So just my 2 cents worth at least. And how did we get into this conversation? Well, we are now fast approaching 2 hours into this conversation. We had a very good discussion. Is that a hand raise or is that no?
Nope. I'm just trying to move my
Yeah, I
camera
want you to
around. It's
hang
not
tight
working.
for one moment though, because I do have questions. Well, for after the show, I do have questions.
Okay.
And you'll. So let me go into my outro music that I like to play. To exit out.
Hey, I'm gonna have to take off for. I have to take off for a minute.
Hey, it's good to it's great to have you here. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for helping me throughout the week getting this show done, episode done. Yeah,
Anytime.
guys, I'm going to tell you, AI is a great tool. It makes this easier for me to develop a video and get it out on time. Look out for the music video and the story video to be dropping into YouTube here probably next half hour or so. So you can, and please go, I know you probably already saw it, but go back in and watch that video, like it, share it, tell your friends about it, subscribe if you hadn't already done so. All that would be great. And stay tuned for the next wrestling, for the next episode of Will's Sippy Cup Shenanigans. Will on honeymoon, and we'll have a great show next weekend. Talk to you next time. Until then, take care of yourself.